Hi, I'm Marcus from One Church, and I've been reading from Mark's Gospel the last few days, and I want to share some verses with you where Jesus is asked by someone, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus says this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is love your neighbour as yourself. Then Paul in Galatians says, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. And then the Message version of that says, in Christ's family there can be no division into Jew and non-Jew, slave and free, male and female. Among us we are all equal. And that just sounds so lovely and so simple, doesn't it? That we would be as one, that we would love our neighbour. Yet it seems that we struggle to do that. It seems that we struggle to connect with and understand people who don't think the same way as us. We all have a world view. We all have a lens through which we see the world. And that is made up of our background and experiences. So if you were brought up in a certain neighbourhood, you went to a certain school, you were in a certain family, you've had certain experiences in life. You see life through that lens and you think everyone else does. But there are people who have a very different experience from that, who grew up in a different neighbourhood with a different education, in a different family situation. And their worldview, their lens that they see the world through is equally valid and equally true. When there are differences, we're often afraid of differences. It's fear that often drives us to do things that because we just don't understand people. So at this time when there is tension, my desire is that we would just start conversations with people, that we would just get to know people, that we would just try and understand the perspective that that person is coming from, which is equally valid and equally true to the perspective that we have in a situation. And when we don't understand people and there is fear, that is often when all sorts of other things like violence and hate grow up as well. And we know that there's only one thing that can actually stop that, and that's love. We know that love comes from God, and we know that eventually love wins. It's the strongest force in the universe. Sometimes in the short term, violence and other things seem to be winning, but ultimately it's always love that wins. It's always love that is the strongest force. And Jesus' commands to us are quite simple, that we need to love each other. Whatever the colour of our skin, whatever our gender, whatever nationality we are, we're all one in Jesus, and we need to love each other and we need to get on with each other. So I just want to encourage you at this time where there is tension and there is fear, let's love one another. Let's really try to understand each other, understand other people's perspective, and let's come together. Because, you know, diversity is such a great thing. It's lovely to look at a garden that's full of a certain sort of flower. But when you see a garden that's full of all different sorts of flowers, that diversity is much more enjoyable, much more amazing, much more satisfying. And we live in a society now that's very diverse. So let's embrace that diversity. Let's love one another as Jesus asked us to. Thanks for listening. God bless.